Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Pennsylvania Junior Bowlers Tour live on YouTube. Adult junior action today coming to you from Midway lanes out in the Carlisle area. We are down to the top four in both scratch and handicap. How we're doing the finals today, one will bowl 4, two will bowl 3, Baker style, 2-game matches. So the teams will have to declare a lineup, and they will have to stay that way for the 2 games. They are not bowling on the same lane each game. So each bowler will be bowling 5 frames on one lane and 5 frames on the other. It's just, it'll be one game and then the second game. So in other words, if I'm starting the match on 13, I will bowl frames 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 on 13. And then in game 2, I will bowl frames 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 on 14, while my partner bowls frames 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 on 13. So that's how we're doing it today. So it should be pretty fun, pretty interesting. I can tell you scores were on the low side today. Usually don't have scores this low for adult juniors. In fact, in the scratch division, all you had to do was be plus to cash. Is that for me?
It should be.
It should be. You're darn right it should be. Yes, to cash. We cashed 5 spots today. And to cash, you only needed to be +1. So very, very interesting day here. They bowled on lithium on wood, 44 feet. And it played hard, to say the least. All right, your leaders in scratch at +232 was Kyle Kizis and Anthony Nyer. In second place at +114, Jordan Schell and Ben Marvel. In third place at +58, Colby Bennett and Cody Schumacher. And fourth is Corey Rinda and Rob Jennings at +49. So +49 to make the step ladder. Or not the step ladder, to make the finals. There's been some tournaments where if you shot +49 in scratch and adult junior, you finished last. So lanes were tough today. On the handicap side, we had in first place, looks like Lita. I will get a name on that. And Scott Sherman at +25. So it only took +25 in handicap to have the lead. Second, Evan. Oh, boy. Larahan? I'll have to get a name on that, too. And Chris Mullaney. Actually, that could be a car. Karachin? Maybe I can see the back of his shirt. Anyway, Evan and Chris, they were at -17. Third is Eric and Dave Barnes at -22. And in fourth, Bethany Jaquith and Mike Moz at -46. Fifth place also cashed at -60. So that is our top 4 for scratch and handicap. The first match, the semifinals, handicap will be on 13 and 14. Scratch will be on 15 and 16.
Whoever wins these matches will come over here for the title. Handicap, whoever wins will go over here for the title. Flip-flop pairs. Okay? Now, handicap bowlers, I put the difference of your 2 handicaps in divided by 2. Okay? Because you're rolling one score for 2 people. Okay? Ironically, the one match, the 2-3 match, you guys have the exact same handicap. No handicap. Okay? But the first match has handicap.
All right, so listening for the handicap, the 2 versus 3 seed, they have the exact same average. So there'll be no handicap in that. That's a scratch match. In the other match, it looks like Bethany and Mike will be giving the Shermans quite a few pins. It's going to get posted on the board, so as soon as I see it, you'll see it. All right, so we're lining them up for player introductions. They do not have a wireless mic here, so that's going to be a little hard to hear. Are you ready, Matthew? Move the water bottle and take it away. Now you're good.
All right, good afternoon, bowling fans, and welcome to Midway Bowl here in Carlisle, PA for today's finals of our adult junior event. Today's finals is 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3 semifinal matches. There'll be 2 games, total pins, Baker style. The winners of each match will then bowl each other in the same round for the title. Okay? Time to introduce our 4 scratch teams in today's final. Our number 4 seeds are Corey Rinda and Rob Jennings.
All right, in the scratch division, your number 4 seed, Corey Rinda and Rob Jennings.
3 seeds is Colby Bennett and Cody Shoemaker.
Your number 3 seeds, Colby Bennett, Cody Shoemaker.
Our number 2 seeds are Jordan Shell and Ben Marvel.
Number 2 seeds, Jordan Shell and Ben Marvel.
And our tournament leaders at plus 232 for 8 games is Kyle Kissis and Anthony Nair.
And your number 1 seeds, Kyle Kizis and Anthony Nair.
And for our 8 scratch finalists. Okay, now it's time to introduce our 4 handicap teams in today's finals. Our number 4 seed is Bethany Jakewith and Mike Moss.
And on the handicap side, your number 4 seeds, Bethany Jakewith and Mike Moss.
Our number 3 seeds are Eric and Dave Barnes.
Eric and Dave Barnes are your number 3 seed.
Our number 2 seeds, Evan Carnahan and Chris Mullany.
Oh, Evan Carnahan. Didn't even look like a Carnahan. And Chris Mullaney.
Leaders at plus 25 for 8 games is Lita and Scott Sherman.
Lita and Scott Sherman are your leaders and the handicap division. All right, so those are our handicap finals. All right, we're going to give them a few minutes of practice, and then we will get started. Hang loose. So next Sunday, we're back to regular PJBT action at East Lincoln, where we were yesterday for the Girls Invitational. Congratulations to Maya and Michaela for winning $500 into their scholarship funds. And then the following week is the first ever Steve Brown Memorial Tournament. It's for both the adults and the juniors, but it's not an adult junior tournament. I will let Matt explain that to you in a little bit. Also, next Sunday is our next Buddies Pro Shop Adult Tournament. I believe it is at Burke's Lanes next Sunday at noon. As usual, our message board is live and operational. Should you wish to chime in, let me know where you're watching us from today. Yes, next week, Buddies Pro Shop Tournament is at Burke's Lanes. It is an over-under 45 doubles tournament. With a 12 o'clock start time. The regular PJBT at East Lincoln has a 10:30 start time. Betsy, where are you watching us from today? I have a feeling you're pretty close. Where in New York, Ike? Deb and Bob watching us from as they're driving home from Maryland. I hope you picked me up something. Deb and Bob. Ike is in Long Island. Possibly somebody watching us from the Villages down in Florida. Our friend who's been from the United Kingdom isn't on yet. Maybe we'll see him in a little while. So this is our, I believe, 3rd year coming out here to Midway. We enjoy it out here. People are very, very nice and hospitable. All right, so the team of Jakewith and Moz will be giving the Shermans 53 pins per game. So over the course of 2, they'll have to make up 106 pins. Let's see, we got New Hope, PA. We got Millersburg, PA. Where else are you guys watching us from today? So once again, for those of you that joined us after we came on the air, we're bowling 2-game Baker matches. So let's take the handicap on the handicap side of 13 and 14. I heard the youth bowler will be the first bowler. So the youth bowler will bowl frames 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 on their lane. And their partner will bowl frames 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 on the other lane. And then on game 2, they're going to switch. So the youth will bowl frames 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 on the other lane that they didn't bowl the first game. And their adult partner will bowl frames 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 on the other lane that they didn't bowl on the first game. Yes, Betsy, 106 pins. That's what happens when Lita averages 68. Well, your daughter was shooting 254s. Yes, she averages 68. She shot games of 59, 62, 74, 90, 71, 90, 74, and 78 today. Yep. Where are you watching us from, by the way, today? Oh, a foot and a half to my left.
Yeah.
That's got to be odd. You're hearing me talk live, but there's a delay on YouTube of about 10 seconds. So you can answer me twice.
Yes, yes. And then I can repeat
So could I.
Yeah.
All right, looks like we're just about ready to begin.
Okay, bowling fans, time to begin our semifinal Baker matches. Starting with the scratch side on your right. We have the number 1 seed, Kyle Kissis and Anthony Nyer, taking on number 4 seed, Corey Bennett and Rob Jennings. In our other match, we have the number 2 seed, Michelle and Ben Marvel, taking on number 3 seed, Colby Bennett and Cody Shoemaker. Okay? Winners of each match, 2-game match, total wins, will advance to bowl each other for the title. On the handicap side, we have your left pair. We have number 1 seed, Lita and Scott Sherman, taking on number 4 seed, Bethany Jacob and Mike Ross. The difference in handicap, 3 game going to the Sherman. Okay? On the other match, we have number 2 seed, Evan Carnahan and Chris Mullany, taking on number 3 seed, Eric and Dave Barnes. Ironically, those teams have the same handicap, so the difference is 0. Okay, so there is no handicap. Okay? Two winners in each semifinals will go over here for the fight. Okay? Bowling fans, let's give a nice hand for our 16 finalists.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to begin. So it looks as if the youth bowlers will be the first bowlers on all of the lanes. So we're going to have Bethany up first on lane 14. She crosses over, leaving just the 3-pin. This is Lita now on lane 13. That's a pretty good looking shot. And that's 10 in the pit. On the scratch side, that was Kyle that just went, left the 3-6. And this is Corey on lane 16, who goes 10 back. Bethany with the spare. This is now Evan up on 13. He splits. Kyle with the spare.
And
Hello. Hello,
good
Matthew.
afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. How we doing? Okay, so we have our 1, 4, 2, 3 matches here.
Yes. New format for us for the finals.
Yes. Many of you who know this event, in past years, we did an eliminator style final, and we wanted to try something different here for time purposes, being that we did an eliminator in the past that went from all 4 bowling, 1 game to 3 to 2 to a winner. And that took a lot of extra time, so we tried a different format this year, so we hope everybody likes it. So in every situation, all the teams elected to have the youth bowler bowl the odd frames and the adult bowler bowling the even frames. So you're going to see the youth bowler bowl first and then the adult bowler second. Kissis and Nyer, who have been off to a good start, they start with spare strike and a double for Rinda and Jennings. In the other match on the scratch side, your pair to your right, we have Bennett and Shoemaker. Bennett started with a split, 8 miss. So let's see if Shoemaker can help pick up for that. And he gets a strike. So first strike of the match for them.
Sound dropped out before, and then it came back on like 30 seconds later. But this is now.
On the handicap side, Sherman getting the handicap. Start with strike spare. Up against Jake with Moss, who started spare strike. Jordan Shell leaves a 5-pin for the second frame for the team of Shell and Marvel. Up on 14 is Chris Mullany, and he leaves the 2-7-8. And Dave Barnes chops the spare there, so 27 for them in the second. Meanwhile, Mullany gets 2, so back-to-back opens for Carnahan and Mullany. On the scratch side, Shell picks up his 5-pin spare. Cody Kissis leaving the 4-pin, and he almost hooked it too far, but he makes a spare. So 40 in the second for them. Back on the handicap side, Bethany Jakewith leaves a 10-pin. And her opponent, Lita Sherman, stepped up, left a 1-2-4-8. She'll look to spare that up. And a strike for Corey Rinda, 3 in a row for their team.
Test 1-2.
And Lita with a nice spare there on 13. So she's able to make her spare. Jaquist, Bethany also makes her spare. So 4 pins separate them scratch. And Colby Bennett puts up a strike for his team. Back on the scratch side.
Just got it somewhere there.
All right, now Rob Jennings looking to make it 4 in a row for their team. Kicks out the 4-pin, leaving the 6. So their streak will end at 3. There's a strike for Eric Barnes. First strike of the match for them. Good shot there for Anthony Nyer, leaving the 10-pin.
As hard as he throws a bowling ball, you weren't here yet. His ball came in behind the head pin one game, and he left a blower 5-pin.
Wow.
Yeah, it was unreal.
All right, we got a lot of action going on here. I'll let you take the left pair. I'll give the right pair.
Okay.
And then when we flip, we'll do the same thing. Makes it a lot easier.
All right, Mike Maw's now up. Yeah, strikes. He had a pretty good last game of the second round to put his team into the finals. He shot 224.
Which was a good game today on this pattern. The scores
Yes, it was.
Scores were challenging today. We did use the lithium pattern today. Lithium was the pattern, but I think with the lane surface, that made it a very tricky situation for a lot of bowlers. So we did not see a lot of high scores today. Okay, we have a little bit of a delay on the scratch side. I believe the ball return
Yes.
we're waiting for. Rob has a 6-pin standing, and Anthony Nyer will look to convert his 10-pin.
That was Dave Barnes making the spare. Barnes is up by 23 after 4. Oh, speaking of, I never put scoreboards up. Let me put some scoreboards up.
Okay, on the scratch side, we have spares for Jennings and Anthony Nyer. So a 20-pin lead right now for Rinda and Jennings over Kissis and Nyer in game 1 of a 2-game match. Stepping up now, former PJBT regular Cody Shoemaker. Puts in a pretty good shot, 3 in a row for Bennett and Shoemaker. And a good spare there on the handicap side for Bethany Jakewith. Now Lita Sherman looking to pick up a spare. She leaves a 7-pin, not able to convert. So that's okay. They'll be at 137 with their handicap, so they still have the lead. Nice shot on the scratch side for Jordan Shell, lane 16 to Struck. Keep that match very close, the 2-3 scratch match. Now Cody Kissis steps up. Ooh, comes in just a tad high, leaving the pocket 4-9. So he'll look to try to slide that 4-pin over into the 9. Meanwhile, Corey Rinda crosses over and strikes. So Rinda and Jennings keep the lead in game number 1 of the match. Oh, and a great shot there. Great 4-9 conversion. Kyle Kissis making the 4-9.
Hello, Colleen.
Back on the handicap side, we have Evan Carnahan converting the 4-7, getting the first mark of the game for his team. And Scott Sherman comes in a little bit high, leaving the 4-6-7, so he'll look to convert that spare. Meanwhile, on the scratch side, Colby Bennett gets a strike. Keep pressure on Marvel and Shell, and Ben strikes also, so really close match, separated by 2 pins there. Back on handicap. Good shot there from Mike Moss, getting a strike. If you go back over to the scratch side, Anthony Nyer with a strike to put 97 in the 5th for him and Kissis and Nyer. Good shot there for Mr. Dave Barnes. And Rob Jennings crosses over, leaving just glad he got 10 down. They all look the same on the scoreboard at the moment. So Rinda and Jennings with the early lead in that match. All right, back out on the handicap side.
Yes, that was Lita that just got the 3 count.
Something spun backwards and kicked out the 4-pin for another strike for Jordan Shell. That makes it 4 in a row for their team. Trying to keep the pressure on Bennett and Shoemaker, who also have 4 in a row. Shoemaker looking to make it 5. And he does. Great shot. So 2 pins separate our number 2 and 3 seeds. A little over halfway through game number 1 of a 2-game match.
Bethany comes in a little high. Leaves the 3-6-10.
Good strike there for Corey Rinda. And 3 in a row now for a team of Rinda and Jennings, keeping the pressure on our tournament leaders. And Cody Kissis, pocket 7-10. Wow.
Evan Carnahan got 9. Bethany did not make her spare. So they are down 25 after 7 with the Sherman's handicap. The Carnahan Barnes match is just a 1-pin difference. Colby Bennett with a 4-9.
Yeah, it looks like this
Good
scratch
shot.
pair being pretty tough right now. 4-9 in the pocket. Kissis will get 1 for the 7-10, so now they post a score of 125. So game 1, they can max out at 215. Their opponents right now on pace to shoot 250. So they'll try to minimize the damage and take it into game number 2.
Big break there for Barnes. He came in high, tripped out a couple pins. Gives his team a double, while Evan did not make his single pin spare.
And on the scratch side, Shell and Marvel take the lead in their match as Ben Marvel strikes, making it 5 in a row. and Colby Bennett gets 1 pin out of the 4-9. So Bennett can max out at 244. Their opponents can max out at 280.
And how about that ugly looking thing on 13?
Did he leave that?
He did.
I didn't even see that.
Yes, he did.
Okay, well, the good news is it doesn't affect the score at all because they were on an open. Nyer leaves a 7 pin. Meanwhile, Rob Jennings kicks out the 4 pin. 4 in a row for Rinda and Jennings. So Rinda and Jennings on a roll here in game number 1.
Dave Barnes now up on 13. He goes 10 back. That's a really good shot. That's 3 in a row for his team. In the meantime, Chris Mulaney struck. So now the Barnes up by 20 in that match.
On the scratch side, we have Cody Shoemaker comes up a little bit high, leaving the 3, 6, 7, 10. He'll look to convert that by sliding the 3 over into the 7. And now Jordan can really put a pressure on their team. Makes a good shot, leaves a 7 pin.
Bethany trips out the 4, foundation frame strike. Lita crossing over, getting 9, only leaving the 7 pin. That we're going to have to get respotted. Barnes with the 9 count. That stops their string of strikes at 3. Ooh, good run there.
Good effort there by Cody Shoemaker, but back-to-back opens for Bennett and Shoemaker will put them at a max score of 223 for game number 1. Shell will look up to pick his 7 pin up, which he does, and they can max out at 259, so they have about a 30-some pin lead in their game 1 of this 2-game match.
Over on the handicap side, Barnes did make his 10 pin. Now Lita will be shooting at her 7 pin.
Kyle Kissis with a nice shot there in frame number 9. They can max out at 205. But right now, Rinda and Jennings in the driver's seat with on pace for 279. Rinda comes up a little bit high, leaves a 6 pin, so that will end the string.
The Sherman's marked it as a spare in the 9.
He's got it. Okay, Corey Rinda makes his spare, so they can, now Rinda and Jennings can max out at 258. And if they do, they would have a 50-pin lead on our tournament leaders. But we do have 1 frame to go. Ben Marvel leaves a 245, picks up his spare. So the team of Shell Marvel can max out at 246. Their opponents can only get 223. Again, don't forget, this is a 2-game total pin match, so the scores will carry over.
Evan did not make his spare in the 9, so they are at 109. They could strike out for 139. The team of Barnes and Barnes could strike out for 200. In the other match, let's see if Scott Sherman can make his spare here. He does with a strike. They will be at 197. And Mike Moss, if he strikes out, they're at 193. So Mike basically did the exact same thing.
All right, hold on. I'll go fix that.
Only you, Mike. if there was a PJBT highlight reel, that would need to go on it. But he slid the 6-pin
Twice.
in a
Two
row.
shots in a
just
row.
like that.
Yes. So while I was away fixing that, Rob Jennings got a 9 spare, so he'll have a fill ball to make 247 for his team. Meanwhile, Anthony Nyer got a strike, and he'll look to strike out and put a 205 on the board for his team.
All right, the Shermans finished with 195. Jakewith and Moz be in the 170s. Chris Mullaney with the 7-pin. 170 for Moz and Jakewith. So 25-pin lead for the Shermans after game 1.
And on the scratch side, Nyer able to strike out, so even though a frustrating game for them, they end with 205. Their opponents, Rinda and Jennings, 246, so it'll be a 41-pin advantage for Rinda and Jennings going into game number 2.
Strike there for Dave Barnes. They're looking to take a pretty commanding lead after game 1.
Cody Shoemaker makes a pretty good shot. Just comes up a little high, leaving the 4-pin.
Mullaney with the strike for 129. Barnes with a high jersey, trip of the 10.
Good strike there for Jordan Shell. So their team will have team of Shell and Marvel will have a lead going into game number 2 of this 2-game match.
All right, 197 for Barnes. Team Barnes. They have a 68-pin lead.
And on my scratch side, the last match here, Shoemaker looks to strike for 202. Shell leaves a 10-pin, so there'll be 236. And he gets an 8 count, so Bennett and Shoemaker will finish with 200. And with the spare here, Shell and Marvel will have a 36-pin lead after game number 1. And 36 it is, 236.
All right. These are still anybody's matches. Lord knows we've seen enough here on the PJBT to know that all of these leads can easily be erased fairly quickly. All right, on to game 2. So Jakewith
Same order.
and
Same order, just opposite.
Moz are going to have to win this game by 79 to overtake the Shermans. 9 count for the little diva, not so little anymore. Lead it with the 6 count.
Okay, Rinda and Jennings. Rinda starts with a crossover 5-pin for start of game 2.
Bethany with the spare.
And Kyle Kisses starts with a strike. Good start for Kisses Nyer, needing to make up 41 pins this game.
Lita gets 2.
Rinda gets his spare. Jordan's up.
Well, he just said that I'm on. I thought he stays on the right lane. I stay on the left.
No. You don't stay on the same lane.
You bowl in the same lane both games?
No.
He finished the 10th frame. So do I start the first frame? Right lane?
Mike Moz gets the split out. In the meantime, the team of Carnahan and Mulaney spared, and the Barnes spared. Sherman up, trying to make his 6-pin.
Marble match. Both bowlers starting with an 8 count and a spare.
Mulaney with the strike in the second frame.
And there's a double for Kissis and Nair. So good start to the match for them in game number 2. For our bowling fans out there, the cumulative total for each team is on the board. I did set it up with cumulative total, so what you see at the end of their score is correct. Strike there for Rob Jennings. Spare strike for Rinda Jennings.
Great shot there by Bethany. They're clean through 3. Barnes left a 10-pin.
Jordan Shell comes in light. Looked like he came out of that one a little fast with a little less turn, and 1, 2, 4, 6, 10. So he will look to send the head pin over into the 6-10 and convert that. Chance for Bennett and Shoemaker to make up some ground. Let's see what Cody does. And he comes up high, leaving the 3-pin. So he'll look to post back-to-back spares for their team.
Lita now up in the 3rd. She leads the 1-3-9.
Shell only able to get 2 on lane 15, so his team has now a 22 in the second of game 2. 258 cumulative total. And a spare for Bennett and Shoemaker.
Eric Barnes got 9 on 13. Eric makes his spare. Evan now up on 14.
Rinda crossed over, leaving the 6-pin for their team. So he'll look to put 40 with a spare up in the second of game 2.
Double for the team of Carnahan and Mulaney. They're going to need lots of strikes this game, but they're certainly capable.
Cody Kissis comes up high, leaving the 3-6. Rinda not able to convert his spare, so 48 in the third, 294 their cumulative total.
Scott Sherman came in high, left the 6-10. Let's see if Moz could throw a double up there for his team. He comes in high, leaves a 6-10. Looked like he got that ball right early.
Kyle Kissis able to convert his spare for the team of Kissis and Nair. So they have a 20-pin lead in this game, but they need to make up 41, so they still trail by 20. Good shot there for Colby Bennett. 39 in the second. Meanwhile, Ben Marvel comes up high. I'm sorry, rather goes light and leaves the left-hander's bucket, the 3-5-6-9. So he'll look to convert his spare.
Mike Moz made his 6-10. Chris Mullaney looking for a triple for his team. They get it. So good start for them. Spare 3 in a row.
Good shot there by Anthony Nair. Looked like his footing was, he was a little ahead of himself, but got the ball to the pocket, but left the 7-pin. So he'll look to convert that spare.
Barnes comes in high, leaves a 3-6. Bethany now up. Her fifth frame for her team, looking for their second strike of the game. She comes in high too, 6-10.
Ben Marvel converted his bucket spare, and same thing for Anthony Nair. Rob Jennings up on 16, leaves a 10-pin. So a slight lead in the middle of game 2 of this 2-game match. Slight lead for Rinda and Jennings over our tournament leaders, Kissis and Nair. And we have a really close match in our 2-3.
Bethany picked up her 6-10. Lita, she gets to try the 1-3-9 again.
Rob Jennings converts his spare. And now to our 2-3 match. Shell and Marvel looking for their first strike of game number 2.
Baby
Comes
split
in.
for Eric.
Go ahead, I'm
Barnes.
sorry. Shell comes in high, leaving the 4-6-10. Not a good start for them in this game. If he gets 2, they'll have 48 in the 4th. Some weird counts up there, 5, 6, and 7 for their second, third, and fourth frames, creating a weird score for them. And a strike for Cody Shoemaker. So a big strike there, putting up a double for Bennett and Shoemaker.
Evan came in light, 1-2-9, so that stops their string of strikes at 3.
Strike there for Kyle Kissis.
He does not convert his spare. All right, Scott Sherman up, 6th frame. His team still leading by about 50 or so pins. He crosses over, leaves the 9-pin.
Corey Rinda leaves the 6. Once again, he's going to give that another try, and for the second time in a row, Ben Marvel goes light, leaving this time the 3-5-6. Just doesn't have the back pin for the bucket.
Mike crosses over. Somebody named Nicole says hello.
Tell her I said hello.
Okay. Matthew says hello.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I can tell her myself. Sorry. I can hear her saying, "Oh, Matthew," as we speak. All right, good spare there for Rinda, this time converting the 6-pin. Now, Colby Bennett and Cody Shoemaker, even though they came into this game of the match a little behind, strike here would give them the lead. Bennett crosses over and leaves a tough, tricky spare, the 3-9-10. For our non-bowling fans out there, one of the hardest spares in the game. You slide the 3-pin get the ball to the right of the 3-pin and try to fit the ball in between the 3, the 9, and the 10. See if he can convert. He is not able to convert as he gets the 3 and the 9. That's a very common open frame with that one. So 94 in the 5th, 294 is our overall score. Rob Jennings comes up high, leaving the 3-10.
Over on the handicap side, Mulaney spared for his team and Barnes struck.
Yes, good job. Good job.
Bethany throws up a double for their team. They inch closer.
And a good strike for Anthony Nyer. So a double for Kissis and Nyer. So they are crawling their way back into their match. Jennings not able to convert the 3-10. And now that match is back to almost even. So we have two really good matches here on the scratch side that are about even again, as we are a game and a half through a 2-game Baker match. Winners of each match will then switch pairs and bowl each other for the title.
Good shot there by Evan. Didn't get rewarded leaving the 10-pin. Eric Barnes up looking for a double for his team.
Jordan Shell gets a strike. First strike of game 2 for their team. In a very close match. Shoemaker able to kick out 4, 5, 7, light swisher. And we have a match on the scratch side between our 2 and 3 seeds, as they are just 10 pins separate them right now.
If Mike Moss could strike here, they'll be within 10 pins.
Good shot there for Corey Rinda. Looked pretty good. Looked like he made a good adjustment. Did not get the result he wanted. 4-9 split.
And he leaves the 5-pin.
And a big triple for Kyle Kissis and Anthony Nyer. Rinda gets 1. So 103, they can max out at 193 right now.
Scott Sherman with the strike in the 8th.
And a good adjustment for Ben Marvel, as Shell Marvel now posts their first double of the game. And 9 and a wiggle for Colby Bennett. Pretty good shot. Kicked out the 9, didn't kick out the 4. So he'll look to make that spare. Rob Jennings comes up high, leaving the 3-6 for his team. So ironically, on the scratch side, the teams who did very well the first game, struggling the second game, keeping our matches close.
Bethany gets 9. That match is down to a pin at the moment. If Lita strikes, they'll extend that lead up to 11. Big spare here for Bethany. And she converts it.
Good job, Zach.
All right, so her job is done.
Anthony Nyer looking to make it 4 in a row for his team and take that whole deficit back and get the lead. Oh, and he comes in high, leaving the 4-6. So that will open the door a little bit for his opponents.
Lita, does she get the strike? Oh, 7-pin. That was an excellent shot.
Now up Cody Shoemaker on 16.
And Barnes just
And
got
he
the
just got the slid 6 pin also.
Wow.
Way over, like in front of where the 10 pin is. So I will be right back.
Okay.
Raise the rake and clear the dead one.
Okay, Lita did not make her spare. So the team of Jakewith and Moz with an 11-pin lead going into the 10th. Evan Carnahan leaving the 5-6. They still trail by, if Evan can make this spare, they'll trail by about 30 going into the 10th with the Barnes on a strike. So it's going to be a little tough for them to make up. He did make the spare. All right, off we go into the 10th frame. Scott will start us. They could strike out for 373. Jakewith and Moz could strike out for 374. So actually, it's a 1-pin match. Sherman crossed over. So if Mike could strike here,
And she does.
and he does.
Great shot for him.
Well, Matt, they did what they needed to do. They threw a clean game.
Yes, they did. Clean game. Okay, Jordan Shell strikes, making it 3 in a row for the team of Shell Marvel. So they still are in the match. Cody Kissa steps up in the 9th frame and makes a good shot. So they can max out at 233. They needed to win this game by 41. And at the moment, they have about a 50-some pin lead. So overall, about a 10-pin lead for our tournament leaders.
And on the handicap side, we have our first victors, Bethany and Mike. Jakewith and Moz will be moving on to the finals. And they will be facing Eric and Dave Barnes.
They both win all day.
Okay, as soon as Colby Bennett bowls his 9th frame, Rob Jennings will step up to begin the 10th frame for our scratch matches.
All right. Carnahan and Mulaney shoot 201 that game, 330. The final score in the other match was Jakewith and Moz with a 383-352 victory over the Shermans. Barnes with the strike. If he strikes out, they'll shoot 385.
Okay, so Rob Jennings started with a strike in the 10th. He goes right of the head pin. So now I believe, if my math is correct, I believe Anthony just needs a mark here
Yes.
in the 10th for a victory. And he gets it with a strike.
All right. Dave Barnes struck out, just like Chris Barnes would have. 385, 330 victory. So they will move over to 15 and 16 for the finals.
Okay, in our scratch match, we have Kyle Kissis and Nair taking home the victory over Rinda and Jennings. And there's a strike for Cody Shoemaker. And a nice conversion there for Anthony Nair. And their team finishes that match ends 426 to 405. Kissis and Nair over Rinda and Jennings. Now to our 2-3 match. Shoemaker strikes. We'll see where important shot here for Jordan Shell. He comes up high, leaving the 310. So I believe Shell has to convert this to have a chance. Bennett and Shoemaker.
Nah, he should be fine.
Only gets one.
Yeah, they're fine.
And Shell and Marvel will advance, winning the match 420 to 400. Okay, so give me a couple minutes and we'll have some awards.
Matt, are we going to switch lanes?
Yes. Just don't practice yet.
Yes, they did, Deanna. Corey Rinda, Rob Jennings. $75 scholarship for Corey, $75 cash for Rob for their 4th place finish.
Our third place finishers in the scratch division. Youth bowler getting a $75 scholarship and award. $75 payout for the goes to Colby Bennett and Cody Shoemaker.
Bennett and Shoemaker, 3rd place today, both of them receiving $75. Scholarship for Colby. Cash for Shoemaker.
Okay, our fourth place finishers in the handicap division. Youth bowler getting a $50 scholarship and award. Adult bowler a $50 payout. Goes to the team of Evan Carnahan and Chris Maloney.
Evan Carnahan, Chris Mullaney, $50 each, scholarship and cash for their 4th place finish.
And our third place finishers in the handicap division. The youth bowler getting a $50 scholarship and award. The adult bowler a $50 payout. Goes to the team of Lena and Scott Sherman.
Lita and Scott Sherman, $50. All right, so that takes care of the semifinals. We'll let the bowlers warm up. They're flipping lanes. All right, so upcoming events on the PJBT. Once again, next week, as mentioned earlier, back to East Lincoln Lanes, my favorite little bowling center. Pretty much halfway between Lancaster and York. Next Sunday, 10:30 start time. Kegel recreational pattern. The following Sunday is the first annual Steve Brown Memorial Tournament. That tournament is both for adults and juniors. It is not an adult junior, though. I'll have Matt explain that a little bit. You are going to want to make a reservation for that. We're expecting a pretty full house for that. Sunday, March the 1st is our annual 3-person team tournament up at Clearview. Now, if you know you're going to be bowling in that, you definitely want to put down a deposit as soon as possible. Clearview only has 32 lanes. So the first 32 teams that sign up with a deposit bowl together. Team starting at 33, they get split up. So if you're the 33rd team, your first bowler will be bowling on lane 1, your second bowler will bowl on lane 2, and your third bowler will bowl on lane 3. If you're the 34th team to sign up, your first bowler will bowl on lane 4, your second bowler will bowl on lane 5, and your third bowler will bowl on lane 6. That's the way it works. So, if you want to bowl together, you definitely want to sign up as soon as possible. That's Sunday, March the 1st. The following week, Sunday, March the 8th, under 21 doubles at Heaster's back in the Reading area. Sunday, March the 15th, major number 8, Haja Rose Bowl up in Allentown. Sunday, March the 22nd, adult junior tournament number 5 at Suburban Bowlerama. And Sunday, March the 29th, regular season event, J Lanes in Douglasville. All right, that takes us up to the end of March. You can put down a deposit for any of those events. As I said, some of them are definitely recommended. You definitely want to put down a deposit for the Steve Brown Memorial. You definitely want to put down a deposit for the 3-person team tournament. I would put down a deposit for the under 21 doubles and the adult junior. All deposits can be made at www.pjbtbowlingseries.com. If you put down a deposit before midnight the Sunday before the tournament, if there is a discount, you will get the discount. I do not know if there's a discount for the Steve Brown Memorial, but all the rest of them will have a discount. You could download our schedule at www.pjbtbowlingseries.com. We use Facebook to announce everything that we do. You could search PJBT Youth Information page on Facebook. Click the join button. You'll certainly be approved. And if you could hear the sound of my voice, as you could tell, we televise just about 100% of all of our finals right here on YouTube. If this is your first time watching us here, thank you for joining us. Where have you been? If you would, kindly hit the subscribe button in the upper right-hand portion of your screen. And if you have your notifications enabled, you will get notified each and every time we go live on the Pennsylvania Junior Bowlers Tour. Season 21. Hard to believe. Once again, our message board is live and operational. Should you wish to chime in, let me know where you're watching us from today. I like it when we have people across the pond over in Europe joining us. So on the scratch side, we have the number 1 and number 2 seeds. On the handicap side, we have the number 2 and number 4 seeds. Looks like we're done with practice.
I did. I zeroed them out. Not at the bottom.
All right, so it looks like we're just about ready to go. Take it away, Matthew. All right, off we go for the finals. In the handicap side, Team Barnes will be getting 9 pins per game. It's a little bit less this time for Jaquith and Moz to make up. All right, so Jordan Shell, Kyle Kizis will be starting us out on the scratch side. Eric Barnes, Bethany Jaquith starting us out on the handicap side. Jordan with the quick strike. Bethany comes in a little high, leaves a 3-6-10. Kyle comes in light, 2-8. Eric crosses over for a Jersey strike. If you would, sometime before these two games are over, Matt, explain to the viewers out there in YouTube land how the Steve Brown Memorial Tournament is going to be working.
Okay, well, for the Steve Brown Memorial Tournament, what's going to happen is we're going to have a regular qualifying round and for the adult group and for the youth bowlers. And essentially, there is not going to be a second round to the tournament from the standpoint of the youth and the adults will both bowl qualifying, and we will have a prize list based on the results after the first qualifying round. However, the top bowlers from the youth side and the top adult bowlers will then be randomly drawn together to bowl in a doubles type format. Additional 3 games, and then we'll have a stepladder for the doubles portion of the final. It's a format that was used in Berks County for a couple of tournaments known as the Great and Greatest Tournament. So we're going to try to give that format a try. It gets the adults and youth involved, and then it's kind of a tournament with a singles and a doubles additional feature. So we're going to pay out extra prizes that day because of the fact that the adults will have a prize list for the adult event for the qualifying round. The kids will have a scholarship prize list for their qualifying round, and then there will be a prize list for the combined final for the doubles.
What's the entry fee for that?
For the youth, I believe it's still the same as our normal events. I would have to check that though.
Okay.
And then for the adults, it's their typical entry fee also. So,
Okay.
Yep.
Also for you adults, next week is our next Buddies Pro Shop tournament. It's
Yes.
an over 45, under 45
Over under 45, yep.
at Berks Lanes next
double.
Sunday, 12 o'clock start time.
Correct. Lots of action out on the lanes next Sunday with an adult event at 12, and the youth bowlers will be at East Lincoln Lanes in York starting at 10:30.
All right, so over to the action on the scratch side. We got a 9-pin match after 3 frames. The leaders are Shell and Marvel. Both teams open in the third. On the handicap side, we have 3 marks apiece for the teams.
And as you said that, Mr. Barnes just chopped his spare. So 68 in the fourth, 77 for them. So with a spare, which Mike Moss gets, that match is even through game 1. 1 pin separate them. So ironically, our 1 and 2 seeds in scratch are bowling off for the title. Our 3 and 4 seeds in handicap bowling off for the title. And a good strike there for Bethany Jaquith. So Bethany gets the first strike of the game for their team. And Eric Barnes comes up a little bit light. That one looked right of his target, leaving the washout, the 1, 2, 4, 10. So he'll look to convert that.
Over here on the scratch side, Kyle came in high, left a 6-10. And Jordan Shell puts up a double for his team. Kyle converts.
Eric Barnes not able to get his spare. He gets 2. 76 in the 5th, 85 with their handicap for game number 1. And Dave Barnes steps up and leaves the 6-10. So he will look to convert the spare.
Anthony and I are up 6 frame. Had the 8 pin, then the 8 pin disappeared.
Pretty good shot. And now Mike Moss comes up a little bit high. He leaves the 6-10. So we have a pair of 6-10s on the handicap side.
Ben Marvel with the strike for his team. They're on 3 in a row. They have taken a 29 pin lead in this match on the scratch side, but don't forget, 2 games to determine our winners. Kyle now up, frame 7. He comes in high, 3-6-10. So back-to-back high shots for Kyle.
Both bowlers on my side convert their 6-10 spares. And now Bethany Jakewith leaving the 5-10. So she will look to slide that over, or it'll be the first open frame of the game for them.
Jordan Shell makes it 4 in a row for his team. They extend their lead to 39.
Eric Barnes goes a little bit light, leaving the 2-pin. And Bethany makes a field goal right through the middle. So 8 miss, 122 for them in the 7th. And Eric makes his spare.
Anthony definitely got that a little left early. Came in high, but all the power he puts behind that ball. He got them all to fall. Ben Marvel did not. He left a 9-pin.
6 count for Dave Barnes. And in the meantime, Mike Moss steps up with a strike.
Marvel makes his spare. They presently have a 38-pin lead, but it could be cut to 28 if Kyle Kizis strikes in the foundation frame 9th.
Good spare there for Dave Barnes, making the complicated pickup. As we start frame number 9 on both sides.
And he splits.
Bethany Jakewith leaves the 6-10, so she'll look to convert. Eric Barnes comes in high this time, leaving the 4-pin. And Bethany not able to convert her spare.
And Jordan Shell just ripped an 8-pin. We'll see if that comes back to haunt them by the end of the second game. Kyle does not make his spare, so the most they could have is 186. Jordan spares and Ben strikes out. They will shoot 235.
On the handicap side, Dave Barnes misses a pocket to the right. He seems to be having trouble with the right lane, getting the ball to come up. So with a spare strike, they can shoot in the 170s. Now Mike Moss can strike out here. He gets the first strike. They can strike out to be in the 170s. So we could have an even match after the first game of a 2-game match.
Nair puts up the first and the 10th. Ben Marvel wraps 7-pin.
Mike comes in high, leaving the 4-6-7. So he will look to get 2, keep the match close.
6 pin for Nye. They'll be in the 170s. And Marvel and Shell will be in the 220s.
Okay, 8 count for Eric Barnes. 2 pins for Mike Moss. So Jake with and Moss finish with 167. They lose game number 1 by 7 as Barnes and Barnes end with 174. So 174 to 167 will be a 7-pin lead. 7-pin lead for Barnes and Barnes going into game 2.
Who yelled they got it? Matt got it. All right, so we're just clearing the dead wood. Once again, message board is live and operational. Should you wish to chime in, let me know what you're seeing today. Let me know where you're watching us from. Always like to hear where our fans that support the PJBT are watching us from. All right, Bengals 10 back, so they win the first game 224 to 176. They have a 48-pin lead.
Okay, so we go to game number 2. It won't have a carryover in the screen. I forgot that. Because if you carry it over, it will have all the games from earlier. So we'll keep our fans updated there.
Why don't you have them put in handicap quick? At least on the scratch side.
That I could do.
Yeah, so it's 48.
48. Okay, I'll take care of that.
All right, Kyle made his spare in the first. Jordan coming in high, leaves a 4-6.
Okay, so bowling fans, just so you can see it on the scratch side, what I did is put the first game 48-pin advantage in the system for Marvel and Shell and Marvel, so that's why you see their 9 miss and a strike, 57 in the second. That way at the end it will give you who is our victor.
Good shot there for Kyle.
On the handicap side, Barnes is struggling. They started with 3 opens in game number 2. Jakewith and Moss, on the other hand, go spare, strike, open for Bethany. 46 in the third.
10 back for Jordan Shell. That's a double for both teams. Three in a row for Shell and Marvel. Let's see if Anthony Nyer can match.
Dave Barnes leaves a 5-pin and spares it up. Mike Moss leaving the 4-pin. He'll look to convert.
Anthony did not match, left a 4-7.
Good spare there for Mike Moss. Good shot there for Bethany Jakewith. Ball crossed over, leaving the 9-pin. She'll look to convert her spare. And Eric Barnes goes wide of his target, in the 1-2.
Strike for Kyle in the 5th.
Bethany able to convert her spare.
Jordan leaves a 4-6. He left that in the first frame.
And a chop spare for Eric Barnes. So the Barnes is struggling here in game 2, as they only have 53 in the 5th. Scratch. And Dave steps up and gets a strike.
What was the scratch score of their first game? Scratch.
It was, well, they were getting 9 pins handicap, so they shot
Yes.
165 scratch with one handicap. It was 174 to the Jakewith Moss 167. Okay, Bethany gets an 8 count, leaving the 3-9. Eric Barnes trying to get the first double of the match for their team. His ball hooks early as he pulls it left to target, leaves a 1-3-9. So he'll look to convert.
Right there's the difference in this game. Anthony does not trip the 6 that Ben does.
Good spare there for Bethany. And Eric Barnes just cannot get a break as he goes through the heart, gets the 1 and the 3, but not the 9. So 81 in the 7th.
Four pin for Kyle. With the spare and they strike out, they shoot 237. So basically the Shell and Marvel just looking to mark out.
right off the hand. Dave Barnes pulls a shot left of target and gets a 6 count.
Jordan strikes in the 7th.
Oh, what a great shot for Mike Moss. The fast 7 stands. He'll look to convert his spare.
None, multi. This is the last one.
Barnes gets 2, so they now have 89 in the 8th. A good spare. Jakewith and Moss have the lead as the number 4 seed. They have the lead in the match.
It's 3 in a row for Shell and Marvel. They smell the blood in the water, Matthew.
Yes, they do. And on the handicap side, a strike for Bethany Jakewith. That's a big shot for them.
Yeah, that match is basically over now. And so is this match, with the strike by Jordan in the 9th. That was the whole story of Kizis and Nair this entire game. Couldn't get out the 4 for Kizis or the 6 for Nair.
Good spare there for Mike Moss, and we'll take home the victory as our bowlers finish out. $125 for Barnes with their handicap for that game. They get 134, so they will have a total of 308 for 2. And for Jakewith and Moss, they finish the game with as soon as the monitor goes away, 183 the last game. So our total scores will be Jakewith Moss 350 to Barnes' 308. 350 to 308 victory for Bethany Jakewith and Mike Moss. Okay, on the scratch side, Kissis and Nair shoot 200 the last game. So they finish with 376 in a losing effort. And Shell and Marvel, 243, so 267. I'm sorry, 467. So a demanding victory, 467 to 376.
All right, that's going to do it. We'll have some award presentations, then we'll do very quick interviews, and then we will call it a day.
Okay, I'll be ready in a moment.
every bluffing stuff. Yeah, you should go the first two and then tornado with his. Alright, you got the perseverance bot. Who's balling? Don't look at his food.
I can't feel my hands.
What? Like a little stinger or something? I thought you misplaced the cash or something for a second.
Not again.
Okay, bowling fans, time to give out our final awards for today's PJBT. Finishing runner-up in the scratch division. You all are getting a $125 scholarship, certificate and award. The adult bowler a $125 payout. Goes to Kyle Kisses and Anthony Nyer.
Runner up in the scratch division. Kyle Kizis, Anthony Nyer.
Our handicap finish runner-up finisher getting a $100 scholarship for the youth and a $100 payout for the adult. Goes to the team of Eric and Dave Barnes.
Eric and Dave Barnes, runner up on the handicap side.
All right, now on to our champions in the scratch division. The adult bowler of our winning team receiving a $200 payout and a first place plaque for his win goes to Ben Marvel.
Ben Marvel, your adult champion. Nice plaque and some cash.
Picture in a moment. And Ben's partner, our youth bowler champion, getting a $200 scholarship and the first place acrylic plaque goes to Jordan Shaw.
Jordan Shell, your youth champion today. $200 scholarship, nice plaque.
On the handicap side for our champions, our adult bowling champion, receiving a $200 payout and the first place plaque goes to Mike Moss.
Mike Moss, handicap adult champion today. Plaque in, cash.
And his partner, the youth champion, a $200 scholarship, certificate, and plaque goes to Bethany Jakewith.
Bethany Jakewith, your handicap youth champion today. $200 in her scholarship fund and a nice plaque.
All right, thank you everyone. We'll get a quick picture and then we hope to see you next weekend. Don't forget the PJBT will be at East Linden Lanes in Newark next Sunday for a singles event. We also have the Hudson Rose Shop Golf Bowlers Tour going on next Sunday. We have an over-under event at East Lanes at 12 noon. So lots of bowling action. We hope to see you on the lanes next weekend. Thank you everybody.
All right, let me adjust the camera for some interviews. right, so we are here with our handicap champions today. We got the little diva, Bethany Jaquith, and the big, not so diva, Mike Moz. So we'll start with Bethany. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is this your first tournament victory this year or second?
Second, I
Second.
believe.
Yeah, I believe it is the second. So, tough pattern today. Lithium on wood. How did you attack it?
Just threw in the middle and hope for the best.
Well, sometimes that's about as good as it could get. Let's talk about the semifinals.
Okay.
You guys were down pretty big after the first game. Did you guys talk about any kind of strategy?
Not really.
No?
No.
No? You're a very boring interview if you're just going to say I threw it at the head pin and we didn't talk strategy. And what was Mike telling you all day today? Because I know he's your coach.
Like towards the end, he was saying move left because like it was starting to break down.
Words of wisdom there, Mike. So you've come a long way I remember you when you were, yes, barely off of bumpers pretty much, and now you're in 7th or 8th grade? 8th grade, right? 7th grade. So you're another year and a half, you'll be in high school, and you'll be high school bowling, and tear comes to mom's eye as So who would you like to thank for this?
Mike, Dolly, my dad, my brother, mom.
And
Bruce.
Fats.
Yeah, MPA Fats.
Okay. All right, congratulations. We'll pass your microphone over to Mike.
Don't go anywhere.
All right. Congrats. I don't think I've ever gotten to interview you before.
Nope, you've never interviewed me before.
No. So this is a first.
Yes, this is the first.
All right. So Lithium. How did you play it? It certainly, played difficult.
I want to thank Radical because I used all Radical equipment all day, as I always do. I started with my strongest, ended with my weakest.
Okay.
Lane got fried. I want to give a shout out to this one right here who shot her new high game 254, which kept us in the competition.
Yes. Yes, in fact, you were about 30, 35 pins out of cut with one game to go
And she
in
shot
round
254.
two.
Yep.
All right. So, who would you like to thank?
I want to thank her for shooting 254. Everybody who supports my pro shop and me, Bethany, Betsy, Dolly, Doug, wherever you're at, Drew, you're hanging around somewhere. Midway Lanes for putting on a great show. Matt, putting on a great show. Yes, you're my favorite personality.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, I'm not going to ask who your coach is.
Yeah.
Actually, she probably could have been today.
Yeah, right?
Actually, let me ask you the same question I asked her. So, in the semifinals, you were down pretty big. What was going through your mind then? Since, obviously, according to Little Diva here, you weren't talking about strategy.
We did talk something. I looked at her and said, we're down 80 pins. The expression on her face completely changed. And it's like she flicked a switch. So, yeah.
And that game, you were clean.
Yes.
You
We
threw a
were
clean game,
We
and
threw it very
and
clean.
you were able to make it all the way back.
Yep.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank
This
you.
is this your first ever PJBT?
My first ever PJBT.
Yes.
Yep.
And since this is your second on the year, obviously you were already qualified for championship weekend. And I'm sure I will see you championship
you know you're going
weekend.
to see me championship weekend.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, taking home the handicap title today, Bethany Jaquith, Mike Moz. Let's give them a nice round of applause. All right, now for our scratch. Jordan Shell and Ben Marvel.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's put that a little up there.
There you go.
Congratulations. So, is this your first title this year, or is this your
First this year.
first this year? So now you are automatically qualified for championship weekend down at Limerick. It's good to check that off. Some really good bowling in the semifinals and the finals. Obviously, you had a bowl good during qualifying. How did you attack Lithium?
Well, I used about 5 balls in my bag, and none of them worked, so I went to urethane the rest of the day, and I used the Brunswick Grizz and Purple Hammer the whole day.
Okay. That's actually sound strategy for what was going on these. It seemed to me that at least early, if you hit anywhere from about 5 to 10, you weren't getting it back to the pocket. If you were playing way outside, like if you were playing like maybe like 5 to 2, you could actually get it back. But anywhere in the normal track area, you just couldn't get it back. Is that what you were finding early?
I was playing around up 7 out to like 4, and I was getting it back. I was just
Okay.
using some surface on my
All right.
ball.
Surface was definitely a key today. So, you have been bowling pretty good this season.
I'll say.
What would you say is your key to bowling better? Good coaching, hanging around me, your mom kicking your butt. I mean, what's
Just gotta
going on here?
I just relax, and my mental game has been good
Okay.
the past couple weeks, so just
All right.
put it in autopilot.
How old are you now?
19.
19. So are you in college?
Yep.
Where do you go?
I go to Millsville, and we have a bowling club, so we're trying to
Excellent.
do some more tournaments and stuff.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank my dad because he set me and Ben up. I didn't really know him before today, so
I guess you think you'll be guys
know
will
him
be
now.
partners again. Yes.
yeah.
All right. Anybody else?
My mom, my uncle.
Well, your mom who drags you
Yeah.
around every play. Yeah.
yeah, she
and your
definitely
uncle?
helps. She pays for a lot of stuff. And
That helps too.
yep.
Yep.
My brother.
Yep.
for
Yep.
all
Your
the
brother.
support.
Where was your brother today?
He couldn't find an adult, so he was doing a Mid-Atlantic tournament.
Got
today.
you. Got you.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else?
Not really.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
My buddy Fat's right here, and Pierre Pro Shop for.
There you go.
Yep.
All
Making
right.
the best fit possible.
All right. Let's turn your headset over to Ben.
Thanks, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. I'm not sure I've ever
Appreciate
seen you. Have you ever bowled some of our adult junior events before?
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I used to bowl PJT back in the 2000s.
Oh, wow. That was before even my time
Yeah.
with this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so
Did
much.
you win any when you used to bowl back then?
A few.
Okay.
You know?
We keep the numbers going. So
Yeah.
wherever you were at before, we're going to add one to it. So,
Absolutely.
so before we get to what you did in the semifinals and finals, how did you attack lithium during qualifying today?
I actually haven't bowled a tournament in 10 years. So this is my first
Welcome
tournament
back.
in 10 years. Thank you.
Welcome back.
And like Jordan said, his dad introduced us today to bowl together, and this is our first time bowling together. And like he said, we used urethane anywhere between like 8 and 10, playing straight up, and just trying to make our spares. That was a big play of the game today.
All right. So you didn't seem to have any problems with another lefty on your pair in the semifinals and the finals.
Right.
What would you say your key was? You were able to carry what Anthony really wasn't. He was having a little trouble getting out like the 6-pin a lot. What would you say was like? What were you doing that got you to get out? Why he couldn't?
I'm a big player on ball speed and moving around, so
Got ya.
I was playing a different shot on the left lane than I was playing on the right. Might have been a border or two move, but I was still trying to keep an eye on where his ball was breaking and comparing it to where my ball's break point was.
Got you. Well, I mean, you guys could have let them back in, but you guys just kept putting X's on the board that second game. Exactly what you had to do. Where do you bowl out of?
Suburban, York County, Colony North.
Okay. So pretty close drive
Yeah,
today.
absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Anybody you'd like to say hi to and thank? And
My ball driller, Denny Runkle, he's a great guy, knows my equipment, knows my shot. Hammer bowling, that's all the equipment I use is hammer.
Got ya.
I've always had a lot of luck with them, and I've always thrown good shots with their balls, and it's a good company. So.
Got ya. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will let them go. Your Scratch Division champions taking home the title today. We got Ben Morrow. We got
you,
Jordan
sir.
Shell. Congratulations. Thank you.
Very well.
Okay.
All right.
All right, that will do it.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a pretty interesting format.
It was.
Worked out good.
I hope you liked it so we could do it again sometime.
We might do it.
Good.
We hope everybody has a great week. We hope to see everybody next weekend. Don't forget the PJBT has a regular singles event at East Lincoln Lanes in York. Okay. And I will be at the Buddies Pro Shop Adult Bowlers Tour event next Sunday. The kids event starts at 10:30 in York. And the adult event, the over-under 45 doubles event, will begin at 12 noon at Berks Lanes for the adults. So we have multiple action going on next weekend. We'll have live streaming finals from East Lincoln Lanes in York for the youth event next Sunday.
All right. Take us out.
Okay, so we'll have a great week, everybody, and we will see you next Sunday.
See you guys.
So is that something I can go back and watch at some point?
You know what? Let's leave it at the counter.
Just under the PJBT.